major goals: bring an end to the suffering, all kinds of suffering, and awaken to inner peace and happiness, love and wisdom, so that we can live in truth and wisdom, peace and happiness all the time. Am I clear? But am I living in peace and happiness all the time? Answer is no. So if we explore why we are not living in peace and happiness all the time, then at least we have some understanding and a clarity about our life that yes, if we remove something in our life that causes suffering, and we can invite those moments in life that makes life happy in peace all the time. Logic. So there comes an entry of the mind and the intellect. Modern psychology is not very clear about the mind and intellect, and the Eastern wisdom is 100% clear about mind and intellect. I'm talking about your mind and intellect. A girl married to a blind man. Normally, men are always blind, so no worries, including me and John. So after a few days, the wife could not bear the pain, so she covered her eyes with the cloth and started pretending to be blind. Sigrid, this is your first session with me, so keep smiling. Why she did this? She could not bear the pain of her husband. Now see what happens in this situation. At least a blind learn how to work. But she had to learn pretending to be blind. She's not blind, but she pretended to be blind. That is what happens between the mind and the intellect. One is mind and other is intellect. Mind is the blind man. A girl who became blind pretended not blind is an intellect. So when the intellect pretends to be blind, that you are responsible for my sorrow, you are responsible for my peace. Honey, I love you, but love is not there in the honey. So we have not examined where the love is located, for example. So when we do not understand where the peace and the love are located, we pretend to be blind. And when we pretend to be blind, then there is no way we can secure peace and happiness in our life. It is the mind that makes us blind. So if we take care, we understand this mind clearly, then there is all the problems are solved. Problems are not outside. Problems are always inside your mind. They are located in your mind. So we have to find a solution in the mind itself. You're totally frustrated, in pain, and I knock the door. So you have a big smile on your face. It may be a fake. We hide, isn't it? Say yes. It is a fact. So understand, mind is impulsive, it is instinctive, it is habitual, and it follows its own ways. It goes in a blind way to search peace and happiness outside. That is why my mind is wandering, it is frustrated, it is in fear, it is in sorrow, it is in grief. Intellect is available to us to see the truth, what is right and good. Honey, you don't love me. So I have a begging bowl in my hand. Honey, you don't love me. No, I'm sorry, I'm not offending anyone. But that is the case. I have an expectation. Say, for example, you, huh? All of you, honey, you don't love me, so I have a begging bowl in my hand. And I don't know whether you have love in yourself or not. That is what the intellect thinks. The intellect means the knowledge, intellect means analysis, intellect means observation, intellect means that now I am on a crossroad. Let me check which way to go, which one is right, which one is good. Mind impulsively responds. It has a deep attachment. Don't worry, Sigrid, I will send you the video file and audio file also. So you can make a note. So, no. It's important to write. So you understand this mind. Mind bluffs by going to what mind likes and pleasant for us. So what I may like may not be good for me, but mind bluffs. And that is why my mind is wandering. That is why mind is distracted. And then we blame that my mind is wandering, so what should I do? Do nothing. Let it keep wandering. Understand the basic cause. And how simple it is. We all are driving up, when we all drive, for a fraction of a second, the mind goes somewhere, we bring the mind back. We are very much clear that at present, what we are doing, we don't want any kind of distraction. It is a threat. It is not a threat. We live in awareness and attention while driving on the road to avoid accident. We don't live in awareness and attention in our day-to-day life. We are carried away by the mind that is blind. That causes the problem. Let me know if I'm wrong. Why I'm wrong? I'm teaching from the principles of Eastern wisdom, which has been discovered thousands of years ago. So the first examination, first understanding, first observation, or we should be aware the moment the mind blames and complains and attached and obsessed, intellect is becoming a blind. Become aware. No blame, no complaint, no reaction. Ask the intellect, let me examine and think. Where is your intellect? It is in you. Where is your mind? It is in you. Who has to examine? It is you. So if you are ready If you are aware, then you know that you follow the right path. So, in the struggle between the mind and the intellect, the knowledge and the impulse and instinctive nature of the mind, if we are very clear where we are heading in our life, if we are very much clear, and let the intellect should guide the mind for few weeks, remembering the right purpose, the goal of life, the mind stops wandering. Why the mind is wandering? We have millions of desires. Small, big. Desire is desire. Whether I desire 10 bucks or whether I desire 10 million, both are desire. So our Eastern masters of the Eastern wisdom says, you have millions of desire. Why don't you categorize, classify them into four groups? So that at least your mind is clear. Just classify into four groups. You don't find in modern psychology. You don't find anywhere. All the desires can be classified into four groups only. So then it becomes very easy for us to examine, observe, and live our life. So why to classify? Because mind cannot live without desires. So simple. So we classify. So once we classify into four groups, three groups are known to everyone, including the animals, including all the living species. And the fourth can only be known by the human race. Why don't you speak? Just come out. Now I'm coming out slowly to just make you understand. If you do not have a knowledge of an object, for example, take an example, the pasta, if you like it. So you have a knowledge of the pasta, then only you have a desire. I'm invoking other principles. So if I don't have a knowledge, I don't have a desire. So first is the knowledge of that object or that person. Then I have a desire. Then desire lives in the mind. Mind does not know what is right and good. It dominates the intellect. Desire prompts me to an action. I am expecting a good result, but I am frustrated. I fail. That is what I have been talking about. You are my soulmate. So after a few weeks and year, the person becomes a soulmate. The same soulmate we divorce, then we find another. That is how the mind works. Now, coming back to millions of desires, and we have, if you categorize them into four groups of desires, only four desires are there. Four groups means, four category means four desires. Before we understand that, desires means the goals. So there are three goals in life and one goal of life. Now, what is the difference between goals in life and goal of life? Who is the wisest among? There are three goals in life. Be very clear. And once you live with that knowledge in the intellect and guide your mind through that intellect, the life becomes easy. So, first, before knowing it, understanding it, we should be very clear what it means by goals in life and goal of life. Goals in life has a start and finishing point. It starts and then it finishes. You don't sleep 24 hours. You retire to the bed late in the night. Starting point, finishing point, you wake up. Eating, starting point, finishing point. Do you see that? Working. You cannot work 24 hours. Starting point, finishing point. But just recognize these are the goals in my life. And then we will categorize them into three. Goals in life are temporary. Goals in life constant change. Goals in life is a starting point and as has a finishing point. If you are jogging, you do not keep jogging for hours together. There is a limit. There is a limit to the sleep. There is a limit to the sex. There is a limit to food. There is a limit to the clothes. Am I clear? Say yes. Goals in life has a starting and the finishing point. Waking, sleep, dream, eating, clothes, house, drinking, shower, talking, walking. You cannot talk for 24 hours. Now, I don't know much about women, but Charlie says, yes, I can talk. 24 hours stopping means gossiping. And gossiping means the mind is impulsive. Mind makes the intellect blind. Look at it. So, and what about the goal of life? Goal in life means it is a part. It has some desire, it has a starting point, it has a finishing point. That is what the goals in life. And what is the goal of life? Goal of life is 24 hours. No. How do you mean? What do you mean? You see the wisdom of these masters. And that's why this wisdom continued. It cannot be destroyed. The wisdom is so clear. The knowledge is so clear. That's why it continued for the last 6,000 or 7,000 years. What is the goal of life? Come to the goal of life. Let me ask you a simple question. And if you say no, raise your hand. If you say yes, do you want peace here and now? Do you want peace in the morning? Do you want peace with your honey? Do you want peace before you sleep? Look at the John is love. Do you want happiness all the time? Is it not goal of life? It is not a goal in life. It does not have, we don't want the starting point of a piece and a finished point of the piece. Look at it. You just said yes. See the way these masters have understood. Millions of desires divide into four categories. Out of the four, the first three are goals in life, and the last one, the fourth goal, is introduced by our masters. The goal of life is to be in permanent peace and happiness and love and wisdom. So when I want peace and happiness in all locations, at all time, in all relations, it is permanent peace. Isn't it? But why the mind is seeking that permanent peace? Because somewhere it is inside me. That is why it is seeking. It's not a dream. It's not an imagination. Somewhere it is deep inside. So Master says peace is your essential nature. You have to discover the peace in you. You have to discover happiness in you. You have to discover love in you. Did you get it? Who says, I want happiness in the morning and for 1 hour I want to be in stress? Who says? Who says this stuff? We don't recognize this. Only problem, the intellect is made blind by the mind. It's not that you do not know. Intellect is blindfolded. We'll keep on this topic for maybe another 2 weeks, but be very clear about it. So briefly, if I use the three goals in life, we have to make, just before that, you compare the animals. Animals also have these three goals, not only two goals out of the three goals. And their goals are met by the existence or the nature. Bring the tiger into the city. Tiger meets all the four goals in their life in the forest. It is regulated, operated by the nature. Recently, the Indian government invited 6 or 7 tigers from Africa to be put into a forest, not to be put into a city. Because that forest, in the presence of a forest, the tiger knows their home, their prey. So what is the difference in the human life? The human life has to make an effort to earn wealth. That is the first goal. Wealth in any form. First goal is that we have to make an effort. It is conscious effort. That is what we say. Oh, this is my career, I'm an engineer, or I am a painter, or etc. etc. The first goal in life, I should be very clear that this is what I have. This is my journey. I have to make an effort. I have to excel in that. I have to continue that journey. Or if I want to change my efforts, I can change the direction. But be very clear. Don't be frustrated. So 25% out of the millions of desires calms down. Because I know this is my profession. I told myself this is my profession. In India, I had 19 cousins, and 17 are either engineers or medical doctors. So when I chose that profession, and they said, oh, this guy is now, he'll be a failure. I said, wait for some time. My time is coming. So the first goal, I should be very clear what kind of effort I should make, how to excel in that, how to evolve into that so-called profession or effort. I must do. Whether I am a homemaker, I must excel in that. It's very important. Second goal in life. I'm talking about goal in life. It has a starting point, it has a finishing point. You cannot work 24 hours. No one. So I should be very clear. I work almost maximum 20 hours. 20 hours in a week plus 10 hours in writing. You might have received 10 hours in writing, 30 hours. So rather, I will say 12 hours I spend in meditation. I'm very clear about it. I don't want craving or any sort. The first goal is the effort. So by the effort, reward is definitely given to you. Reward in terms of recognition, in terms of the wealth they come. Now, how you use your wealth for a pleasure? That is the second goal. Eating, food, clothes, house, car, etc., etc. That is the second goal. And if we have unlimited pleasure, then what happens? Fidelity converts into overeating, converts into over pleasure, converts into, you already know it. I don't want to say anything. Are you clear? That is, so we should have a pleasure, but we should not become unlimited in our pleasures. The moment I become unlimited in pleasures, it gives a pressure to the first goal in life, and then I get frustrated, I have a failure, I have a fear. Are you clear? And the third goal in life that is almost absent in animals. Because of the intellect, we should regulate the first two goals in life. What do you mean by regulation? I should not cheat, I should not steal, I should not commit violence for the sake of the effort and the pleasure. Are you getting it? Very clear in the mind. So the intellect should regulate the life of a pleasure and the life of an effort that we work 8 or 10 hours, whatever it is. We should be very clear. Same thing, we should be very clear about our pleasures. I like sweet desserts, so I keep on eating, and after a few years, now the same sweet and sugar becomes the poison. Who told you to keep on eating sugar? Sugar is still the same. Your mind blames the sugar now is a poison. It was so good in my early days of the life. I have to balance it. Intellect can only regulate it. Your own intellect. So when the intellect is not blind, it regulates the mind. And the fourth goal of the life is the self-discovery. What is the self-discovery? That is the ultimate goal of life. Ultimate goal of life. Self-discovery, I should know who I am. Our master says this real self is of the nature of peace and happiness, love and wisdom. I think I have repeated at least 100 of times, isn't it? So the journey of the entire wisdom, Eastern wisdom, is that let me discover myself, that I am of the nature of peace and happiness, then only I can think, speak, and act and live 24 by 7 in peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. Now, that fourth goal is, is guiding all the three goals in my life. I think and speak in my profession in peace and happiness. So now, idea of the pleasure from the world is gone. Why it is gone? Because I am in peace and happiness. So this mind naturally calms down. And the regulating force from your intellect on the effort and the pleasure prevents you to have any fear because you are paying the taxes to the IRS every year, so you need not to worry about it. You don't worry. Maximum speed is 75, so you drive below the maximum speed in your life. Just pick up any area. Any area. You don't have an over expectation. You don't overwork. You are not fully busy. You know, I have a time to relax. The three goals in life are being regulated by the fourth goal of life because you know who you are. You know you are in peace, and that is how we can live, think, and speak in peace 24 by 7. We will continue our journey of this topic, and now is the time to do some little practice. Sigrid might have done a lot of practices, but even then, let us do some practice. Eyes are closed, and eyes are closed. Let me give you such a simple practice. Eyes are closed, and first preparatory step, you become comfortable. How you're being comfortable? How? Eyes are closed. Once you adjust and align the body, no need to move your body at all. You look at the neck joint mentally. Mentally, you look at the neck joint, feel sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So if you feel and experience, you are there. Move the mind on the shoulder joints. So when you move the mind on the shoulder joint, you see that? Mind that makes us blind, we are asking the mind to follow me. Who is following? The intellect. You listen and you follow. It means the intellect is working over the mind. Pay attention. Such a simple way. Mind goes to the shoulder joints and be there. Feel sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Today we'll go the simplest and the most effective practice you had done before, and we are repeating that, which I say the 4-step relaxation mindfulness practice. So move the mind. The mind is aware of the entire body. Very good. And you feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Is the body still visiting and moving here and there? You are still you are still adjusting and aligning and stretching. That is your wandering mind manifesting through the body. Pay attention, my friends, and now be carefree. It is also the preparatory step in this practice, but in a higher practice, being carefree is one of the highest steps. So, why I added this? In order to introduce. So, you are already familiar with this, and then you go deeper. But here, what I say, unwanted, unwelcome thoughts are entering into your mind at this time. You observe, you watch them, you feel them, but no action, no preference, no likes and dislikes. Likes and dislikes by the mind. Intellect says, I will check what is right and good. So what the intellect is checking, let any thought comes, let any thought go, let any thought stay, let any thought leave. Intellect says to the mind, do nothing. You follow this. How do you follow? You stand across the road, watch the traffic. You do not enter in the middle of the traffic. You stand across the road. So intellect is asking the mind stand across the road watching the traffic moving. We are observer. We don't focus. It is totally an effortless. You don't make an effort while standing across the road. You are just standing and watching. Same way, mental traffic, you are watching. That's all. Watching is not an effort. But if you put an effort, the mind will hijack you. Mind will make the intellect blind. So even when the intellect knows, intellect pretends to be blind, then you will come out and share your experience. I had lot of thoughts. I was disturbed. So now see, the first step is the simplest. I always give to the people, you look at the head and the neck, the first step. Who looks the mind? What do you mean by looking? You are aware of the head and the neck. Or can I say move the mind on each and every cell of the head and the neck? What is your experience? Your experience is sensation and awareness. But just be with that. Don't make an extraordinary effort. So move the mind on the right arm. So your mind moves on the right arm from the shoulder to the fingers. Now see, if the mind moves with awareness and attention, your experience of sensation and awareness is deeper. You will instantly experience, there are new sensations. Are there new sensations? I'm not a teacher who plays with a gimmick. Because your mind is very close to the body, it is returning, it has changed its direction. That is why you feel the sensation and awareness. The mind moves on the left arm from the shoulder to the fingers, and your experience is sensation and awareness. Now see how the mind hijacks you. Mind says, I have been thinking, a lot of thoughts are there, how can I be aware? No worries. Move the mind once again on the left arm. Mentally you are looking the left arm. The thoughts comes again, move the mind again. gently. So what will happen? You'll feel the sensation and awareness. Pure mathematical. Move the mind on the middle portion of the body from the shoulder, in the front, the chest and the belly, in the back, the shoulder blades and the spine. So middle portion of the body from the shoulder to the waist. The mind keeps awareness and attention there. You lose your awareness of the middle portion, bring it back. Look again. You feel the sensation and awareness. What we are doing in this, we are changing the direction of the mind from outside to inside. Mind that is scattered outside, we are gathering it inside. In this way, yes. I don't believe it. Don't believe it, but practice it. The mind goes to the right leg from the right side of the waist to the toes. Sensation and awareness. Mind goes to the left leg from the left side of the waist to the toes. Sensation and awareness. I'll tell you why it is not scanning the body and why it is changing the direction of the mind. So once we have a right knowledge according to the teachings of the Eastern wisdom, the mind will practice and will believe it. Move the mind on the entire body from the top of the head to the toes and experience sensation and awareness. Now the second step is sensation and stillness. You look at the head and the neck again. So you already have an experience of sensation, awareness, and the third experience you should have is the stillness. It is a natural stillness. It is not enforced stillness. So when you discover the stillness, you are preventing the mind to go outside. But the mind says, oh, let me stretch, let me move my head, what a big deal. It becomes a big deal that you don't recognize in the beginning, but as you progress, you recognize. Move the mind on the right arm, from the shoulder to the fingertips, sensation, awareness, and stillness. The mind moves on the left arm, from the shoulder to the fingertips. You experience sensation, awareness, and stillness. Do you see it's not scanning? Our goal in this step is to ask the mind to experience sensation and stillness. Why? To prevent the mind to go out. Oh, is this way? Yes. The mind goes to the middle portion of the body, from the shoulder to the waist. Sensation, awareness, and stillness. Right leg. Sensation, awareness, and stillness. Left leg. Sensation, awareness, and stillness. Entire body. Sometimes you look at a person, oh, how still he is. Look at yourself, how still you are. Experience that. So second step is also done. Now coming to the third step. How simple it is. I have been telling you before also, the simpler the practice, higher it is. So now look at the center of the rib cage. Feel. Go inside the skin of the rib cage. Exactly at the center of the rib cage is the seat, is the heart of Eastern wisdom. It is not on the, it has nothing to do with the physical heart. So when you look there, do you find the space or emptiness or blankness, even for a few seconds? Just make sure your mind is living within, if you are aware of that space and emptiness, behind all the thoughts and feeling and the sensations. So the moment you feel and you are aware of that space, blankness or emptiness, say in your mind, Shantoham. Means what? Shantoham means I am the peace. And keep looking into the space. Maybe let the mind be absorbed into the space. Yes, move the mind once again inside the heart. The heart of Eastern wisdom is at the center of the rib cage. What is very important that you are aware of the space or emptiness within. The moment you see the emptiness, you are dropping Shantoham. Means what? I'm the peace. And the mind keeps on looking into the space, and the space is stretching to the infinity. So the mind expands and becomes an infinity. Look again deep inside the heart. One more time. Shantoham. Very good. Now see, understand, people do not teach and guide according to the Eastern wisdom. When you are in the state of sensation, awareness, and steadiness in the body, or stillness in the body, the mind is living within, then you simply look at the breath. That is what the breath mindfulness. Breath mindfulness is not focus on the breath. So what we are not doing anything. We are just looking at the breath with a three-pointed awareness. What are those 3 points? You are aware the breath, you know the breath is going in and out. That is the first point of awareness. Second point of awareness, when the breath goes in and comes out, you feel the sensation inside the nose. Second point, how simple it is. You don't make any effort. Third point, you do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. What should I do? Don't do anything. Keep looking at the breath with a three-pointed awareness. In the state of sensation, awareness in stillness, in the state of being comfortable and carefree. Unwanted thought comes, you are aware of the 3 points. Pick up any point, other 2 points will return. How? Naturally. By force? No. By effort? No. Mind goes anywhere, no issue. You simply remember any one of the 3 points of awareness. Now is the point of doing nothing, just to remain as you are in the state of doing nothing. I will chant the mantra that will help you to go deeper. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Eyes are open inside the palms. Know your experiences. Ask yourself what happened. Why? Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences openly, so it will help you to understand how much knowledge you have assimilated and how you did the practice. So it's an open few minutes we share our experiences. So, how are you, Sophie?
Hello, Girish. I'm very good. I heard your voice from very, very far away.
You see, that is the meaning. The mind has moved inside. So once we have that conscious experience, this means the mind is living within and mind is going within. Beautiful.
Thank you.
How are you, John?
Hey, Girish. I guess I had an experience similar to that of Sophie, where I felt that you were very far away.
Beautiful. You see, that is how we learn and progress into meditation. Every experience gives us some knowledge, some understanding. Example. This is just an example. Don't get offended. Okay? So if the Sophie, for example, I don't know, if the Sophie is angry and John's mind is too far away, will you react? Will you react? Answer is no. And vice versa also. And if the mind is living within all the time, what a great state. How are you, Meet?
I felt a going deeper, a going more within,
Very good.
and calming, a deep sense of calm.
Yes, it's a beautiful experience. One thing to understand, the knowledge part. When the mind is living within or moving within, it has to be calm. There is no other alternative for the mind. No option left for the mind.
Yes.
It has to be calm.
Yes.
Don't get carried away by these experiences. They may not be right. Cigarette, this is your first session. So you tell your experience. Think that they all are wrong.
I had a nice sense of calm.
Oh, nice sense of you also have a calmness. Yes. So you have already heard me. Why we experience that calmness? It is not because I gave you the practice. Eastern wisdom is very clear. Teacher in the Eastern wisdom is like a real estate agent. Oh, here is such a beautiful house. Look at it. But ultimately, you have to buy. You have to live there. From where these examples comes to my mind, I don't know. So you have already heard, when the mind goes within, when the mind lives within, it has to be calm. When the mind lives outside, we become impulsive, instinctive, habitual, scattered, and then that mind is a wandering mind. That mind has lot of thoughts. You need not to control the thoughts. No worries, I'm going to send you this file to you, cigarettes, so you can listen. But what is the goal? You have to listen to it again and again every day, and followed by the practice. So you are doing it for 6 days. So what will happen? Now those principles you have written inside your head. Okay, that is all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Namaste.